I'm criminal defense attorney Ryan Pacyga, and I'm going to tell you what to expect if a search warrant has just been performed at your house or your friend's house. So when law enforcement gets a search warrant, here's how they get it. Unless there's an emergency exception, what they have to do is they have to fill out an application to a judge, where a judge looks at that application and determines whether or not there's probable cause to issue a search warrant. If the judge issues a search warrant, law enforcement will get word of that or get a copy of it electronically nowadays, and once they do that, they'll bring a team to break into the home or knock on the door and have you open it. There are some special search warrants that do not require knocking at the door. That's called a no-knock. And there are certain sometimes nighttime search warrants that allow law enforcement to go outside of the regular hours that they're allowed to perform a search warrant in Minnesota. But once they come in, they have a right to search for whatever it is that the search warrant says they can look for. But they can only look for whatever they're looking for in the places that the search warrant says. So, for example, if a search warrant is for the home, they can't then go to your storage locker that's 3 miles away and go looking there without a separate search warrant. If the search warrant's for your home, they usually can't go looking inside of your cars as well unless the search warrant says they can do that. And they can only look for what can reasonably be hid in the search warrant in the area. What I mean by that is this. If they're looking for a stolen motorcycle, they can't look in your kitchen drawers because you can't fit a motorcycle in a drawer. But if they're looking for drugs, for example, they can pretty much look anywhere in your house that the search warrant says, because drugs can be small enough or big enough to fit into a lot of small different things. So they'll typically be looking for things like drugs, if it's a drug search warrant, money, logs like IOU logs sort of stuff, text messages between people that are allegedly selling or buying drugs and things like that. So they'll not only take, when they're done with it, any suspected drugs that they find, but paraphernalia. A lot of times they'll take valuables that they think might be tied to drug trafficking or whatever they're looking for. Tablets, iPads, cell phones, computers, drives, all those sorts of things that they'll often take. And then they'll usually take some mail or something that might be in your name to establish that you're the one that lives there, so they can say, this is tied to this home. And they'll leave what's called an inventory sheet. So when they're done executing the search warrant, they'll leave a copy of the search warrant at the house, and they'll also leave what's called an inventory sheet, where they write down line by line exactly what they took out of the house, so they can show you a copy of that and say, this is what we took out of here. Now, if they found anything illegal and you or your loved one happens to be home who they think is responsible for this illegal stuff, they'll usually arrest that person on the scene. They might want to try to question them on the scene, and they'll take them down to jail. They might try to question them after that again, and then they're going to try to get them charged if it's serious enough. So they'll put them on a 36-hour hold, which is where they mean they get 36 hours to bring the case to the prosecutors and try to get them charged. Those 36 hours don't always start clicking right away. Nights, weekends don't count, and if they arrest you at 9 p.m., the 36 hours doesn't start ticking until midnight. So from that time from 9 to midnight, for example, doesn't count. So what you can do here is, if you get home, let's say you haven't been arrested, you get home, there's a search warrant on the counter and a search warrant inventory, you might want to call a lawyer right away, because obviously you or someone living there was the target of the search warrant. There are challenges that can be made to search warrants. That will be for another video, but the point is to sort of answer the question, what happens if I get home or I'm at home and there's a search warrant? Law enforcement will search wherever they can to find whatever is allegedly the fruits of a crime, and sometimes they will overstep their bounds and look in places that they are not authorized to look, either by the search warrant or because whatever they're looking for can't fit into there, and those are some challenges that can be made as well. So there are many challenges to search warrants. Some work out, some don't. Every case is unique that way. But if you've had a search warrant executed at your home, or you get home and there's a search warrant and an inventory sheet about what they took, feel free to give me a call. I'm criminal defense attorney Ryan Pacyga. You can call me at 612-339-5844 or find me at www.arrestedmn.com.